Thank you for joining The Bridge Shift today, an avenue to tell inspiring stories and understand those who tell them. It is our medium for live conversations with inspirational change makers.
Hi, I'm Lamise, your host for The Bridge Shift. Our guest speaker today is Dr. Mariam Ketait. She is a general practitioner who specializes in family medicine. Dr. Mariam is a philanthropist, an innovator, a gender balance and well-being advocate whose voice resonates with the importance of connecting well-being and healthcare. Dr. Mariam is the founder and CEO of Chikara, a nonprofit, entrepreneurial and educational online platform aimed to empower women and help them grow through partnerships, digital marketing, and leadership development. Dr. Mariam continues to share her expertise in government design, integrating well-being as a way of life to achieve happiness in the UAE. Thank you for being with us today, Dr. Mariam. It's an absolute pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Just so that everybody knows more about you, because going through your profile with so many achievements, it's truly an inspiration. Can you please just share with us your story, how you shifted from practicing the traditional medicine and what got you into the alternative medicine?
Sure. I mean, when I started as a family doctor, family medicine is more about your biology, psychology, and sociology. So it always had me thinking of all the different elements that come into play when you're looking at an illness. The question, I guess, the curiosity that I had was, how can we help people step into their power and step into well-being holistically? Just so that we achieve health that is sustainable. We talk now a lot about the sustainable goals and how we're all working towards longevity. So family medicine played an important role in that, in helping me look at a disease and an illness from different spectrums. So there was the biology, the physiology, the pathology of the illness itself, but also the psychological element and the social element that come into play when people are faced with such a disease. And after, since I started exploring that and dabbing deeper into family medicine, I then found that there are also more emotional elements, spiritual elements that also play an important role. That drove me to look into color therapy, art therapy, meditation, sound therapy, and kind of exploring how that works with the human psyche, the human body, the recovery of illness, how we sort of feel more motivated to make better lifestyle choices when we are in alignment, when the mind, body, and spirit is in alignment. And that started off a whole new holistic view of life and living.
That's truly beautiful. And you've been recognized, in the nation and creating this awareness, this movement. I'm just going to read some of your innovative work. Can you tell us a bit more about the meditation chair?
Yes.
It was featured in the national news. And when I read it, it just blew my mind, because I wanted to sit in that chair.
Yes. That was such a beautiful experience. Even just for me designing it, it was I used to say it had a life of its own, and then the chair just went all around the UAE. It kind of, I guess, chose the path. It was the year of Sheikh Zayed, Allah yarhamah, and basically I wanted to connect what I was doing with my clients with meditation and health to our culture in the UAE. That meditation is not something foreign to us, but when people used to go to sea, they used to chant, they used to connect with the water, connect with themselves, with the wind, with the sun, with nature, and they had that natural rhythm of life. And meditation is about you connecting to the rhythm of life. And so the chair was sort of a small experiment where you sit in like a boat and you're floating because you're in that chair. You have an ocean drum, which is a sound healing tool, and you play the ocean drum and hear the sounds of the waves. And that puts you into that rhythm, just by the sound of the waves, your breath, and it all synchronizes. It was so beautiful. I launched it in Design Week, and then it moved to all the Emirates, all the 7 Emirates, and We did activations around it. It was here in Abu Dhabi, also in NYU and in the Corniche. It was so beautiful just to see people sort of explore meditation in a different way, even if it's not your conventional, just sit and hum or sit in a easy pose and breathe like yoga. But it's just about you really connecting with your breath and reaching that rhythm, that brainwave. So it was beautiful.
We're looking forward to all of your future projects as well. And we know there are going to be plenty, and hopefully in the future we get to collaborate as well.
Inshallah.
We're just putting it out there.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. So our topic today is about diabetes and the blood sugar. I know I watched one of your TED Talks and you simplified the matter, but you also explained where you see the future of healthcare in the UAE is. But we're going to take a step back and just focus on diabetes. We rely on your expertise, but I'm just going to quickly read through the research that is currently out there. We'll leave all of the statistics also in the links below. But I'll just read quickly from the World Health Organization and the International Diabetes Federation. So about 422 million people worldwide have diabetes, and 1.5 million deaths are directly attributed to diabetes each year. Both the number of cases and the prevalence of diabetes have been steadily increasing over the past few decades. And from the International Diabetes Federation, it says that approximately 537 million adults between the ages of 20 to 79 years old are living with diabetes. And in the Middle East and North Africa region, 1 in 6 adults, so that's 73 million, are living with diabetes. The number of adults with diabetes is expected to reach 95 million by 2030 and 136 million by 2045. 1 in 3 adults living with diabetes are undiagnosed. This is scary. And 1 in 7 live births are affected by hyperglycemia in pregnancy.
Yes.
So just doing my research and going through this, reading all of this information, it's alarming, scary, and that's why you're here to help us shed light on this topic, because I think it's really important to tell people that this is still happening. Yeah. And I think with the whole, pandemic and everything got shifted, but this disease, it should be handled, it could be handled in a better way if we understand it. So yes. I'll give the floor to you.
Yes, of course, as you mentioned, it is the future foresight when it comes to diabetes does not look good for the world, with an 87% rise by 2045, as you mentioned. The reason I was very passionate about it, if you remember the TED Talk, it had to do with the amputation and basically gangrene and all those different side effects of diabetes. And at that time, I remember, I think it was 1 amputation happens every 6 seconds around the world, which is huge. And so, and it's very preventable. It's not like something that, you can't do anything about it. No, diabetes has so many precursors that we can manage and control. And so, yes, it is a metabolic disorder where your body is unable to sort of work with glucose. And I'm talking here about type 2 diabetes. But also it's very much a lifestyle disorder. And all the research right now is pointing towards lifestyle modifications as a first step to managing diabetes or pre-diabetes, or even, as you said, undiagnosed cases. Getting to know your HbA1c, or getting to know, where you are with your glucose levels, and knowing your family history. Those are some of the things that can help with diagnosing, and also you understanding your body. So I believe that every person is the leader of their healthcare. So I'm not going to be talking about healthcare systems or governments or, health institutes and what they can do for that, for the management of diabetes. We can talk mainly about how people can make choices in their lifestyle to step into their health and their power and manage this pandemic, right? It's going to be a pandemic of sorts. And so when I look at your BMI, your obesity, Yes. So the obesity is one of the main factors that can be managed. And there's a lot of research saying that should be your first line of treatment. And diagnosing and treating diabetes. So you work with weight, but the way you work with weight is also very unique, right? It's not just lower your calorie intake and increase your exercise. Although, yes, if you reduce your weight by 5%, you actually reduce your chances of having diabetes by 50%. 5 to 10% BMI reduction is very significant in preventing diabetes and its side effects. So weight management is important, but we have to also understand that weight has a lot of psychological elements, emotional elements. People need to work with their bodies in a holistic way. And I guess places like the Bridge can help them do that.
Yeah, it's a personalized journey for every individual. And like you mentioned, when it comes to being metabolically healthy, we have nutritionists for that, and they studied years to understand how our body works as well to help us get to that better state. And I think by now, people should stop this idea of just to lose weight, cut weight, stop eating, or like eat less of this, eat less of that. It's so much bigger than that. And it does affect, getting illnesses such as diabetes, especially with the glucose.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
With the glucose, the blood pressure, and the cholesterol, when we're talking about metabolic syndrome or any metabolic disorder, we have to look at the cholesterol levels, the waist circumference, like basically how your body looks and feels, and also your blood sugar and blood pressure, which are connected. But the thing is, again, I feel that yes, you can lose and release weight in a month or 2 or 3 if you cut your calories and start working out. However, we're looking at a lifelong solution where you're building a relationship with your body, and you understand what works for your body and what doesn't. You can develop the sense of, now, if I have this piece of cake, this is then what I'm going to have to do. And you understand how your body works. And it's not just the metabolism. It's just your sleep. It's your thoughts. It's your movement. It's so many things. Yeah.
So for, let's say, a person who feels that there's something, or recognizes, because I think that's the first step, recognizes that there might be some sort of red flags, that I might be getting ill, I might be getting this, or someone who just wants to check what's going on with their bodies. So what would you suggest the first step, or the steps that they would take to get to know their bodies more, or to,
Yeah. So there are different routine blood tests that you can do at your age group, depending on, where you are. So adolescents have certain blood tests, and then in your 30s and 40s, and then also at an older age. But some of the important markers are of course, fasting glucose, your HbA1c, and then your BMI. Those are some of the things that can give you an indicator of where you're at. Again, looking at your family history is also important. And then starting to sort of see how you feel when you climb the stairs or take a long walk. Do you get out of breath easy? Do you feel that your muscles are carrying you well? If you start, incorporating a jog, how easy or difficult is that? And I think that the trick with working with your body is finding something that brings you joy, right? So I think a lot of people now are playing paddle, or of course tennis, or whatever they choose. But it's very important to listen to your body and not force it. And a little bit of determination is important, of course, but at the same time, it needs to feel joyful for it to be continuous and for you to incorporate it into your lifestyle.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything you said. And so for people who want to start making that change, what advice would you give them?
First of all, listen to your body. Second of all, believe in that health is your choice, right? A lot of people get disempowered by reading some statistics or even listening to a lot of, just everything that's happening around them. So getting disempowered is the first step of inviting disease also into your life, because there are so many things that you have access to that are environmental, that you can change, that you can choose, that will bring you health. So remembering that health is within your power and within your grasp is important. So strengthening that self-belief, and then taking really small action steps. So it doesn't have to be, I'm going to work out 5 times a week. And, yes, you can have that, but also be kind with yourself in the way you're doing it. So set goals that are attainable, and at the same time, measure your success, but also then don't measure it every single day and try to gauge that growth, but maybe every month. And have a tribe, right? Have a team that can work with you and people that you can trust, whether it's a trainer or a coach or a nutritionist or a friend who's on that path. That plays a very important role in staying motivated. Especially with diabetes, there's a lot of defeat energy with it. When I talk about also diabetes from a spiritual perspective, it's the energy of defeat or not being able to sort of digest all the situations in life and losing the sweetness of life. That's what they say in some of the modalities that I've been practicing. And so also try to bring in that element of sweetness in life and the way you look at life, the way you experience it, surrounding yourself with beauty, with kind words to yourself, receiving that love and kindness from yourself and others. But also when you motivate yourself, try not to use harsh words and not, it's much easier to sort of release that energy of defeat when you are kind with yourself. And to regain your strength and to regain your power through having small action steps. Just a 45-minute walk every single day for 5 days can make a huge change in the way your body receives, heals from the illness. And also being able to ingest food while looking at not just the nutrients and informing yourself on what you're eating and the sugar that's in it or the ingredients that are in it, but maybe trying to practice self-nurture through cooking for yourself or just little things that are kinder to ourselves. I think that's the best way to sort of deal with the health challenges.
Yeah. What about, let's say someone hits a roadblock, they get demotivated. What types of healing can they go to to help them get back on track?
Yeah. It's very common to get demotivated on the track of any journey. And then people must always also remind themselves that the road to success is not just a straight line. It's ups and downs, and that's actually part of the growth process. So raising awareness on yourself, your well-being, your mindset, your emotions, and trying to have a non-judgmental attitude to your own growth is very important. But also seeking help when you need to. So seeking guidance from a person who can, whether it's a coach, a life coach, or even a personal trainer or a psychologist, whatever tool that you find works best for you to help you, because we all need help. It's not a one-man show. We live in a world where we're all here to support each other. And that's why also having a tribe is important, and having a space, a community space, and having dialogue is very important with any chronic medical condition. Diabetes is one of them. So, and that's what I do now also with the Chikara. It's creating community spaces for people, especially women with different reproductive health challenges, but also for chronic medical conditions. Because just having someone listen to you who has gone through the same process and sharing their ideas and their insights, and knowing that you're not alone is a big part of the healing process. Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful what you're doing with Chikara, and I really do hope that you continue to do that, and I know you will.
Yeah.
And future collaborations, hopefully, because there's a lot of knowledge that I know you're here to share with everyone, and it's a beautiful movement.
Yeah.
And I think raising this awareness to the society that we're in, opening people's mindsets a bit more, because I think a lot of people are scared to maybe acknowledge or accept that first step. And having a society that would be more open and receptive of the changes that we can make in our lives to live healthier lives. I think that is one of the things that you continue to work on today in Dubai.
Yes. Chikara is an online platform, so it's global. We work with women from all around the world. And that's the beauty of it. It started after the pandemic, and that's why maybe the demographics are very diverse. And so I think one of the most important tools for us as we grow is that sense of community. And that's also what I mentioned in the TED Talk, that the future of healthcare is community spaces.
And you said it's all correlated. You cannot take one
without the other. Exactly. And so having those community spaces where people can engage and heal, and like what you have here with the bridge with the art, because art is a big part of it. It's a big part of emotional healing and mental healing. And it's all interrelated. You can't think of the physical without the emotional. The nervous system connects all of that. And your nerves play an important role also in how your body metabolizes sugar. So it's all connected.
So it's just human nature that we want instant gratification, or we want results right away. So what do you tell people that just want results right away?
Yeah. I think impatience is really like one of our areas of improvement in humanity, especially now with this, like with after TikTok, after like the pandemic, they realized that the attention span of humans is getting shorter and shorter to like six seconds or even less, right? And this means that we are becoming much more impatient with ourselves, with our bodies, with our minds. And that's why meditation is an important tool to help us sort of slow down and remember the rhythm, because life is not that fast. You know, it takes 9 months for a baby to be born. 9 months still. I mean, give or take. But the thing is, we need to kind of remind ourselves that it is, we need to have patience with ourselves, and at our own capacities, develop that skill. And then also the way you look at results can change, because you can have instant gratification, but not in the sense of, okay, I want to release 5 kgs now, but maybe I want to take 2,000 more steps a week, or, you know, so again, yes, gauging that and working with your mind, and working with how your mind works best. So for example, when we talk about meditation, some people enjoy the sound, some people enjoy the visualization, but a lot of people who are fast-paced and, for example, you know, cannot slow down their brain, can do a walking meditation, or even on the treadmill, they sort of, or even when they're driving, some people find that meditative. So it's very important to tailor your well-being practices to your needs and to understand how your mind and body works. Don't try to just, you know, read something and follow it. Test it out, listen to your body, trust yourself, and then lead your healthcare. And that's the final message.
That would be the final message that you want to leave everyone with this whole conversation.
Yes.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful message. And if people want to reach you, how can they connect with you?
They can reach me on Instagram and on my social media channels. I think you're going to have the links. So, yeah.
Thank you so much again, Dr. Mariam. It's an honor.
Thank you.
And we will be leaving all of the details for the research and details for Dr. Mariam in the description below. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we'll catch you on the next Bridge Shift.